The soda can struck the ground with a flat thump, splattering syrupy liquid across the tomb guard's spotless boots. The crowd at Arlington went silent, their sharp gasps slicing through the sweltering air. Tyler Grayson, just 13 and flaunting expensive sneakers, smirked, his phone already raised to capture the ultimate viral moment. He expected laughs, maybe even a startled reaction from the stone-faced soldier. But Ethan Caldwell, the guard, stood motionless. His eyes, hidden beneath dark lenses, burned with an anger no one expected. In that instant, a careless act of disrespect was about to ignite something bigger, a firestorm that would reshape a boy, a family, and a nation's idea of honor. What Tyler didn't realize, what no one in that audience could have imagined, was that the soldier he mocked carried the memory of a fallen brother. And the tomb he guarded held secrets that were about to unravel everything. Before diving into this story, where are you tuning in from? Drop it in the comments. And if you believe that values like honor, bravery, and sacrifice still matter, stand with us in keeping their legacy alive. It was Memorial Day at Arlington National Cemetery. The sun blazed overhead, flooding the sea of visitors surrounding the tomb of the unknown soldier. The atmosphere was heavy with heat and reverence, the kind of silence that falls when something sacred is unfolding. Families, veterans, and travelers stood shoulder to shoulder, their attention locked on the lone sentinel, pacing with flawless precision. His navy uniform was pressed sharp, his cap pulled low, and his sunglasses concealed any flicker of emotion. Every stride, every pivot, every sharp click of his heels carried purpose. This was Ethan Caldwell, 28 years old, a tomb guard of the 3rd U.S. Infantry Regiment, a man shouldering the burden of honor itself. Among the crowd stood the Grayson family, visiting from California. Jonathan Grayson, a tech company CEO, wore a custom suit, his attention fixed on his phone as he hammered out emails. His wife, Lauren, clutched a cemetery map, her luxury shades perched neatly on her face. Between them stood their teenage son, Tyler, his blonde hair styled perfectly, his outfit screaming wealth, rare sneakers, a custom shirt, and a gleaming new phone dangling from his grip. Tyler wasn't there for the ritual. He was there only because his parents thought a trip to D.C. would boost their social media feed. To Tyler, it was nothing more than another dull stop on a vacation he never wanted. "This is so lame," he muttered loud enough for strangers to hear, drawing a few side glances. "Why are we just standing around watching some guy march back and forth? It's like 100 degrees out here." Lauren exhaled, barely shifting her gaze. "Tyler, sweetheart, just try to appreciate it. This matters." "Matters?" Tyler sneered, thumbing through his phone. "It's just some old grave. I bet this dude's just a fake soldier playing dress-up." Jonathan, eyes glued to his device, didn't even glance up. "Let him gripe, Lauren. He'll get over it." The crowd quieted as Ethan finished his 21 measured steps, pivoted, and faced the tomb. His movements were flawless, a living monument to those unknown heroes who had given their all. Ethan had earned his position through years of relentless training, each day fueled by the memory of his older brother, Michael, who never returned from Afghanistan. Every step was for Michael. For the fallen. For his country. Tyler, though, saw none of it. To him, it was just the perfect setup for clout. "I'm about to get the best clip of this guy," Tyler grinned, lifting his phone. "Bet I can make him crack." He started filming, his voice deliberately loud. "Yo, check out this robot guard. Bet he's roasting under that hat." A few visitors shot him sharp looks, but Tyler shrugged them off. He was used to the spotlight, used to his parents cleaning up whatever mess he made. Back home, teachers gave him passes, and his friends admired his family's wealth. For Tyler, the world was one big playground, and the rules didn't apply. As Ethan turned to make another pass, Tyler's boredom shifted into mischief. In his hand was a half-empty soda can left over from lunch. A sly grin crept across his face. "Yo, this is going to be epic," he whispered under his breath. He edged closer to the rope barrier, ignoring the bold warning signs that read "Stay back." The crowd stirred uneasily, sensing what might happen, but Jonathan and Lauren remained too absorbed to notice. With a sharp flick, Tyler launched the can. It clattered to the ground near Ethan's boots, splashing sticky soda across the mirror-like shine. The audience gasped, a sharp break in the heavy silence. Ethan didn't move. His expression stayed carved from stone, his rhythm unbroken, though his jaw tightened just slightly. Years of war, years of discipline held him still. He had faced worse: gunfire, roadside bombs, the grief of losing his brother. But this insult cut differently. Tyler burst out laughing, louder this time, encouraged by the reaction. "Yo," he didn't even twitch. "This guy's a straight-up statue." Tyler lifted his phone again, zooming in on the mess. "Look at what I just did. This is blowing up online." An older man in the crowd, a Vietnam vet with a cap to prove it, leaned toward his wife. "That kid's got no respect," he muttered. "Somebody ought to set him straight." Tyler, completely unfazed, kept pushing. He leaned over the rope, practically crossing the line. "Hey, soldier boy. You gonna wipe that up or what? Bet you can't even talk." He turned to the onlookers, waiting for laughter, but all he met were cold stares. A mother pulled her children closer, shielding them from the spectacle. A group of teens whispered, shaking their heads in disgust. At last, Jonathan looked up from his phone. "Tyler, what are you doing? Get back here." "Relax, Dad," Tyler shot back. Tyler waved his father off. "I'm just messing around. These guys get paid to stand here, right? They work for us." The words lingered, sharp and out of place. Behind dark lenses, Ethan's eyes fixed on Tyler for a fleeting second. He'd endured harsher insults in combat zones, but this boy's smugness cut differently. The tomb of the unknown soldier wasn't simply a monument, it was sacred ground, a tribute to those who gave their lives without recognition or reward. And now, this kid was treating it like a backdrop for TikTok. Unshaken, Tyler pulled out his phone again. "Time for the real shot," he muttered, stepping past the rope. The crowd buzzed with alarm, phones raised to capture the moment. Tyler strutted toward Ethan, holding his camera high for a selfie. "Yo, me and Statue Man. This is going to blow up online." That was the breaking point. Ethan's training commanded him to stay composed, to withstand provocation, but something cracked. This wasn't about him anymore. It was about Michael, about every fallen soldier who never returned home. In one swift motion, faster than anyone could react, Ethan stepped forward, ripped the phone from Tyler's hand, and let it crash onto the pavement. The screen shattered with a crack that rang out like a gunshot. The crowd froze. Tyler's mouth fell open, his eyes wide in disbelief. You broke my phone," he shouted. "That was a $2,000 phone. You'll pay for this." Ethan silently returned to his post, his expression masked, his stance flawless, but the atmosphere had shifted. The crowd erupted in hushed murmurs, some quietly cheering, others stunned into silence. Security officers, led by Inspector Laura Bennett, pressed their way forward. Laura, a no-nonsense veteran with 15 years at Arlington, spoke into her radio. "We've got an incident at the tomb. Miner crossed the barrier. Sentinel engaged." Jonathan stormed ahead, his face red with fury. "This is unacceptable. That soldier attacked my son. I'm calling my lawyer. Do you even know who I am?" Laura lifted her hand, her tone steady but unyielding. "Sir, your son threw a soda can at a guard and crossed a restricted line. That's assault and trespassing on federal property. Frankly, you're fortunate the Sentinel didn't respond more forcefully. He's just a kid." Lauren shrieked, clutching her designer purse. "You can't treat him like a criminal. Laura's gaze sharpened. Ma'am, age does not excuse dishonoring the tomb. This is sacred ground, and your son just defiled it. Tyler, still fixated on the shattered remains of his phone, finally glanced around. For the first time, he caught the expressions on the faces surrounding him: anger, contempt, disappointment. A cluster of veterans stood close by, arms folded, eyes piercing. Among them, a woman in her 60s wearing a Marine Corps pin slowly shook her head. "I buried friends here," she said loudly enough for Tyler to hear. "You should be ashamed." The hashtag Arlington Kid was already exploding online. Clips of Tyler's stunt, and Ethan's reaction, were spreading across Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. News vans were en route, and national outlets were running the headline, "Teen disrespects tomb of the unknown soldier." Laura turned to her team. "Escort the family to the security office. We'll handle this there." Jonathan objected furiously, but the guards stood firm. The Graysons were guided away as the crowd split, some taking pictures, others muttering about entitled rich kids. Ethan returned to his march, boots still sticky with soda, his posture unwavering. Inside, though, he felt turbulence. He had broken protocol, a rare thing for a tomb guard, but he didn't regret it. Not yet. In the security office, a small air-conditioned space lined with photographs of Arlington's history, the Graysons sat across from Laura and Colonel Margaret Hayes, commanding officer of Ethan's unit. Margaret, a 50-year-old veteran with silver hair and a hard gaze, wasted no words. "Mr. Grayson, your son committed assault against a federal officer and disrespected a national shrine," she said firmly. "This isn't a joke. The tomb represents every service member who gave their life for this nation, and your son treated it like a circus act." Jonathan leaned in, his businessman instincts taking over. "Now, Colonel, I'm sure we can come to some arrangement. I'll write a check to the cemetery. I'll cover any damages. Let's just keep this quiet." Margaret's eyes narrowed. "This isn't about money, Mr. Grayson. It's about respect, or in this case, the lack of it. Your son must learn that choices have consequences, no matter how wealthy you are." Lauren gripped her husband's arm. "He's only 13. He didn't mean any harm. He's just a kid." Laura cut in sharply. "A kid who believes he's above the rules. And judging by your reaction, it's clear where he learned it." Tyler sagged in his chair, his trademark swagger gone. The weight of the situation finally pressed down on him. His phone, his lifeline, was shattered. The world was watching, and this time, they weren't cheering him on. For the first time, he felt small. Margaret rose from her seat. "I'm bringing in a specialist to evaluate your son. This isn't just about discipline. It's about making sure he truly grasps what he's done. Until then, none of you are leaving Arlington." An hour later, Dr. Emily Carter arrived, a 38-year-old psychologist who worked with troubled teens. Emily had dealt with kids like Tyler before, spoiled, entitled, hungry for attention, yet never held accountable. She sat across from Tyler in a private room, her tone calm but firm. "Tyler, I need you to tell me why you did it," Emily said, pen poised over her notepad. Tyler shrugged, refusing to meet her eyes. "I was bored. The guy was just standing there like some robot. I thought it'd be funny." "Funny?" Emily arched a brow. "You threw a soda can at a soldier guarding the tomb of the unknown soldier. Do you even know what that tomb represents?" Tyler gave another shrug. "Some dead soldiers, I guess." Emily leaned closer. "Those soldiers gave their lives for this nation. They died so you could enjoy the freedoms you take for granted. That guard, Ethan, is honoring them. And you disrespected that." Tyler shifted, uncomfortable. "It was just a soda can. I didn't hurt him. This isn't about physical harm, Tyler. It's about respect. You turned a sacred place into your stage. How do you think that guard felt? I don't know, Tyler muttered. He didn't even react. That's because he's trained to stay composed, even when people try to provoke him. But don't think he didn't feel it, and every veteran in that crowd felt it too. Tyler lowered his gaze, his fingers twitching. He had no response. For the first time, he began to see the guard as a person, not just some backdrop. Meanwhile, outside, the media storm was intensifying. CNN and Fox News were running the story, and #ArlingtonKid was trending worldwide. Commentators argued over parenting, privilege, and patriotism. A viral tweet from a veteran read, "This kid needs to understand what sacrifice means. The tomb isn't a prop." Jonathan's phone buzzed non-stop with PR warnings, his company's stock was slipping. Lauren's social media flooded with backlash, forcing her accounts private. Inside, Emily delivered her recommendation. Tyler needs a wake-up call, she told Margaret and the Graysons. I propose a 4-week community service program right here at Arlington. He'll work with the grounds team, meet veterans, and learn the meaning behind the tomb. If he refuses, we'll escalate this to juvenile authorities. Jonathan's face paled. You can't be serious. He's just a kid, not a criminal. He assaulted a federal officer on restricted grounds, Margaret replied firmly. Be thankful we're offering an alternative to charges. This is about teaching, not punishment. Lauren's eyes brimmed with tears. But our vacation, we're supposed to fly to Paris next week. Your vacation is finished, Laura cut in bluntly. Your son's lesson begins now. Tyler sat silently, his mind spinning. Community service. Cleaning headstones. This was a nightmare. But one look at Emily's steady gaze told him there was no escape. Over the next 4 weeks, Tyler's world shifted. Each morning, he rose at dawn, trading designer gear for worn jeans and a work shirt. He swept walkways, pulled weeds, and polished marble headstones beneath the blazing Virginia sun. That first week, he whined endlessly, but the grounds crew offered no sympathy. They were veterans. Men and women who had served in wars Tyler only knew from history books. His family's money meant nothing to them. One afternoon, Emily introduced him to Clara Thompson, a 90-year-old nurse who had treated wounded soldiers in Normandy during World War II. Clara's hands trembled with age, but her voice carried strength. I held boys younger than you as they died, she said. They didn't know if we would win, but they fought anyway. That's what the tomb represents, those who gave everything. Tyler listened quietly, his usual sarcasm gone. Clara's words weren't like the movies or video games he knew. They were raw, real, and heavy. For the first time, he felt the sting of shame. By the 3rd week, Tyler stood among the crowd during a Memorial Day wreath-laying ceremony. He watched Ethan march again, his flawless precision, the silence blanketing the audience, the gravity of the moment. This time, it struck Tyler differently. He saw the pride in Ethan's stride, the reverence in the veteran's salutes. Tyler realized the tomb wasn't just a monument, it was a vow to remember. On the last day of his program, Emily arranged a meeting between Tyler and Ethan. They sat in a quiet office overlooking the cemetery, with Colonel Hayes and Emily present. Ethan wore civilian clothes, but his military discipline was unmistakable. Tyler's stomach knotted as he faced the man he had disrespected. Ethan. I'm sorry, Tyler said, his voice low but steady. I was a jerk. I didn't understand what you do, what this place stands for. I treated you like a background prop, and that was wrong. Ethan studied him carefully, his expression unreadable. Why'd you do it, kid? Tyler hesitated. I thought it would make me look cool online. I didn't think of you as a person, or the soldiers you honor. I've been listening to veterans, hearing what they endured. My grandpa was a Marine, he'd be ashamed of me. Ethan gave a slow nod. My brother was a soldier too. Michael. He died in Afghanistan when I was your age. I guard the tomb for him, and for all those who never came home. When you tossed that can, you weren't just mocking me. You were mocking them. Tyler's eyes burned. I get that now. I can't undo it. But I want to make it right. Ethan leaned in. You've already started. Admitting your mistakes takes courage. Keep listening. Keep learning. That's how you honor the fallen. Tyler nodded, throat tight. I will. I promise. Ethan extended his hand. Tyler shook it, the grip firm and genuine. For the first time, Tyler felt seen, not as a spoiled kid, but as someone capable of change. The story didn't end there. Tyler's turnaround made national headlines, replacing #ArlingtonKid with #TombGuardLesson. He launched a blog sharing what he'd learned about sacrifice and respect, hoping to reach kids like him. Jonathan and Lauren, shaken to their core, enrolled in parenting classes, determined to raise Tyler differently. Ethan continued his watch, boots polished, steps flawless, a silent guardian of the fallen. The shattered phone was never replaced. But what Tyler gained, humility, respect, and a sense of something greater than himself, was worth more than any gadget. The tomb of the unknown soldier remained as it always had, a sacred reminder that some things are eternal, and some lessons stay with you forever. If you valued this story, consider sending a super chat to support more stories like it. And now, click the video on your screen to hear another powerful tale of courage, sacrifice, and choices that will challenge everything you thought you knew about duty and justice.